My name is Rick Ryan. I'm a student at Pace University, and presently I want to see if I can talk to you today a little about the new emerging wireless broadband technology called WiMax. WiMax has the potential to impact all forms of telecommunications. In a fixed wireless configuration, it can replace the telephone company's copper wire networks, the cable TV's coaxial cable infrastructure, while offering internet service providing services. In its mobile variant, WiMax has the potential to replace cellular networks. Now, relax a minute and watch this short video from Nortel, who is one of the vendors active in the WiMax arena.
People need their freedom. They need the network. So they go out and about and breathe the fresh air. And when they feel the urge, they search for a hotspot, a place to connect. They must drink from the fountain of wireless broadband, no matter where they are. Enter WiMax. Rather than building more little hotspots like so many other people, Nortel takes the power of the wireless network and turns it up, going from the range of a few meters up to tens of thousands, blanketing communities, entire cities, penetrating buildings thick and thin, boldly going where no wire has gone before. That's WiMax. Wireless broadband everywhere for everyone. It's no wonder that everyone wants it, and the early adopters are getting it. WiMax from Nortel. Freedom and the network all wrapped up as one. Why make it hard when you can make it simple?
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video by Nortel. As you can see, amazing potential. But how does all this work, and what is WiMax? In this simple diagram, I hope to attempt to show in its simplest form how WiMax works. You can see in the lower left-hand corner a WiMax antenna mounted on the side of the house. This antenna may or may not be in the line of sight of the WiMax tower where the signal is being broadcasted. If the receiver is not in a line of sight as it is here, then the distance and bandwidth of the transmission would be lower than that of a line of sight. From there, the transmission would travel a line of sight backhaul and eventually to the ISP network, where it would be connected to the internet backbone. What is WiMax, though? Worldwide interoperability for microwave access. It's based on the IEEE 802.16 standard. It was created by the WiMax Forum, an alternative to cable and DSL. It's considered the wireless last mile broadband wireless access. There are two types of WiMax. The 802.16, which is commonly 802.16 2004, which is commonly known as fixed WiMax, and the 802.16e 2005, which is known commonly as mobile WiMax. As you can see, the heart of any kind of wireless system would be its antennas, and WiMax is no exception. Generally, there are three types of WiMax antennas: omnidirectional, a sector, and a panel. I hope to point out some of the benefits and drawbacks to each of these antennas. An omnidirectional antenna is used for point-to-multipoint configurations. The main drawback to an omnidirectional antenna is that its energy is greatly diffused in broadcasting 360 degrees. So as such, this limits the range and ultimately the signal strength. Omnidirectional antennas are good for situations where a lot of subscribers are located very close to the base station. Sector antennas. A sector antenna is used on smaller sectors, and they do this by focusing the beam in a more focused area. It offers greater range and throughput with a lot less energy. And finally, panel antennas. Panel antennas are used for point-to-point applications. Panel antennas are usually a flat panel of about 1 square foot, and sometimes they have the power supply mounted directly in there. As any technology, you're going to find that there are some objections and some drawbacks. One of the objections to WiMAX is interference. But WiMAX has solutions for each of these. The first solution for interference is OFDM, or orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. Try to say that a couple of times real quick. But OFDM mitigates the interference by breaking the signal into subcarriers. The loss of the data on a small percentage of the subdivided signal does not degrade the reception on the overall received signal. Another method that's used to reduce the interference is adaptive antenna system. An adaptive antenna system uses a beam-forming technology to focus the wireless beam between the base station and the subscriber. Again, this reduces the possibility of interference from other broadcasters as the beam runs straight through the 2 points. And last, I've kind of combined a few of them together: dynamic frequency selection, MIMO, or multiple in and multiple out, and finally software-defined radios. One of the simplest remedies to interference is simply to change the frequency to avoid the frequency where interference occurs. Dynamic frequency selection, or DFS, does just that. A DFS radio sniffs the airways to determine where interference does not occur, and then selects the open frequency to avoid the frequency where interference does occur. The multiple in and multiple out antenna system works on the same principle. With multiple transmitters and receivers built into the antenna, the transmitter and receiver can coordinate to move to an open frequency if and when the interference occurs. And finally, software-defined radios. They use the same strategy to avoid interference, as they are software and not hardware-defined, and they have the flexibility to dynamically shift frequencies to move away from a congested frequency to an open channel. Another objection to WiMAX, or any wireless service, is quality of service. Quality of service is what determines if a wireless technology can successfully deliver high-value services such as voice and video. The chief detractors from good quality of service are latency, jitter, and packet loss. Solve these issues and you have a carrier-grade service. Very simply put, WiMAX offers a very low latency across the wireless span. Most vendors have products where latency is less than 10 milliseconds from the base station to the CPE. The chief solution in offering good quality of service is to prioritize time-sensitive traffic such as voice over IP and video. Fixed WiMAX offers 4 categories for the prioritization of traffic, and mobile WiMAX has 5 categories. Essentially what it does is it takes whatever would be, like voice over IP would be considered a higher category than your general web surfing. So voice over IP traffic would come first, and therefore your web traffic would be down at the bottom. Security. Security is another big objection to any kind of wireless technology. WiMAX offers state-of-the-art security via authentication and strong encryption. Security in WiMAX is set at the privacy sub-layer in the MAC layer. Fixed WiMAX uses X.509 certificates for authentication and 56-bit digital encryption system for encryption and data stream. Mobile WiMAX 802.16e 2005 uses EAP for authentication and advanced encryption systems for encryption. Reliability. WiMAX is extremely reliable. There's no cables to be broken or cut. A backhoe is never going to cut into your wireless technology being spread over the air. WiMAX in its testing has shown 99.9% uptime as compared to some of the other broadband technologies such as DSL. Hope you've enjoyed my, WiMAX and Wi-Fi have been compared on more than one occasion, thinking that WiMAX is nothing more than Wi-Fi on steroids. This couldn't be farther from the truth. WiMAX is a long-range system, while Wi-Fi is a shorter range. WiMAX uses a quality of service mechanism based on setting up the connections between the base station and the user device, while Wi-Fi has a quality of service mechanism where packets can receive different priorities based on their tags. I hope you've enjoyed my presentation. It's just the beginning. There's so much that can be done. The potential is huge for what WiMAX can offer. There's been places in Europe that WiMAX has set up entire parking garages where these small WiMAX transmitters transmit a signal to the beginning portion of to a receiver at the gate where you get a ticket for the parking garage, and they'll be able to tell you right then and there where the next free and open spot is, so you don't have to drive around the garage. WiMAX has tremendous potential. We'll see it shortly here. Thanks. I hope you've enjoyed.